I'm Berks County Commissioner Christian Leinbach, and I want to welcome everyone to our Commissioners Board meeting for March the 24th. We're broadcasting live on Microsoft Teams live event, as well as BCTV, and also YouTube and Facebook Live. At this time, I'd like to recognize my Executive Assistant, Anne Marie Grill.
Thank you, Commissioner Leinbach. Public comment will be accepted in person and through the Q&A function. Please include your first name, last name, and municipality for all comments. Any comments without name and municipality will not be considered. Each citizen can submit one comment. Comment length is dictated by limitations of the platform being used. Teams, Q&A, Facebook, YouTube. In-person comments will be accepted first, followed by comments submitted virtually. The meeting comment period is limited to a total of 30 minutes, including both in-person and virtual comments. This time period may be extended at the discretion of the board. Please be concise. Comments that are germane to county business will be read during the meeting and should not be considered to be interactive dialogue with the commissioners. The county solicitor shall be the final arbiter of whether a comment is germane and should be read. Any commissioner response to public comment will be done at the discretion of the commissioners.
Thank you very much. We'll begin as we always do with a moment of silence followed by a pledge to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We're going to begin this morning with a special presentation. I want to recognize Amy Resch, our system administrator for the Berks County Public Libraries. We're celebrating National Library Week, but that's also in conjunction with the 35th anniversary of the Berks County Library System. So we're glad to have you here this morning. In a moment, we'll present a proclamation, but why don't you tell us a little bit about this great celebration and both events, the national and our local celebration.
Happy to do so. So thank you for having me this morning, commissioners. As you said, I'm Amy Resch. I'm the system administrator for Berks County Public Library System. And I want to begin by thanking the commissioners for honoring Berks County Public Library System with a proclamation celebrating our 35th anniversary. So April 3rd through 9th is National Library Week. And the theme this year is Connect with Your Library. And one of the many things we have learned during the pandemic is how vitally important libraries are in communities, to be a place for people to connect not only with librarians, but with materials, educational opportunities, and also one another. Libraries are no longer shushing places where one simply checks out materials. Libraries are dynamic community spaces where all patrons are welcome to connect with one another, discover all the possibilities libraries offer, and grow together. We're so grateful for the continued support and funding for dynamic library service in Berks County from our county commissioners. These funds help support access to e-materials on Overdrive, programs at the library for patrons of all ages, free passes to area museums, and qualified and friendly staff at libraries all over Berks County. I am honored to showcase the transformation of libraries over the decades, from being known primarily as book depositories to vital community staples over the past 35 years. At Berks County Public Library System, we look forward to the next 35 years of innovation and connection we can cultivate. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Amy. We're not going to read the entire proclamation, but rather recognize the importance. And there's two things I want to say, and then I'm going to turn this over to Commissioner Barnhart. National Library celebration wouldn't be possible without local libraries. And I, for one, as a commissioner, so much appreciate your leadership with our local library system, your team's leadership, as well as the library board, representing, I think, is it 28?
There's 24 libraries and branches.
In the system, right here in Berks County. That makes this a really worthwhile celebration. So I want to present this. We'll do a picture in a minute. On behalf of all three commissioners, myself, Commissioner Barnhart, and Commissioner Michael Rivera.
Wonderful, thank you.
And it's critically important for us to continue to tell a story about libraries, how critically important they are to the community. I think they get brushed aside sometimes, especially during local municipal budget hearings. What's the first thing that we can cut and slash? It's so critically important we continue to fund through the county and service the system. And I, for one, am a bookmobile kid from the days in Reading, and I really have fond memories of going to the bookmobile on a Wednesday night and then on rainy Saturdays walking into the main branch at Reading Public Library. So it is near and dear to my heart and something I really like to have promoted as much as possible and funded as well.
Yes, and we so much appreciate your support. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's have you stand in the middle.
And then you can read it.
Okay. I'm not going to read this whole thing.
And definitely a rose between two thorns.
I was going to say, do you want to?
Why don't you step up? This is live TV. Is this better?
Yeah. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. We'll continue with our agenda. Are there any additions or corrections for the March 17th Commissioner meeting minutes? Hearing none, the minutes will stand approved as presented. We did have an executive session yesterday, March the 23rd, dealing with personnel and contract negotiations. Anne Marie, is there any public comment on specific agenda items?
No, there are not.
Thank you. Under the agenda, item 1, authorizing, under that, Budget Department, adopt a resolution authorizing 2021 budget transfers in the amount of $29,974 and 2022 appropriations in the amount of $3,676,825 per listing dated March the 18th of 2022. There are several items listed under Human Resources. Item 1, authorize the appointment of Erica McKearns to Judicial Coordinator in Court Administration. Item 2, authorize the appointment of Victoria Leidy to Health Choices Quality Manager in Health Choices. Item 3, authorize the promotion of Evelyn Burkert from Office Support 5 to Office Manager in Clerk of Courts. Item 4, authorize the promotion of Suzanne Miller from Office Manager to Chief Deputy in the Recorder of Deeds. Item 5, authorize the promotion of Rebecca Chambers from Director of Infection Control Wound Care Management to Director of Admissions at the Berksheim. Item 6, authorize the promotion of Anne Marie Luce from Social Worker to Business Development Specialist, Berksheim. Item 7, authorize the utilization of a temp agency for a payroll analyst in Human Resources. And item 8, authorize the utilization of a temp agency for a fiscal manager in Children and Youth Services. There's one item listed under purchasing. Adopt a resolution authorizing the chair to execute a policy and procedures for consultant selection agreement to the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation established by PennDOT, the Federal Highway Administration, and the laws of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania as it pertains to the reconstruction and rehabilitation of county-owned bridges. This resolution will replace and supersede the 2012 policy and procedures that was adopted on Resolution 45-212. There's one item listed under Commissioner Rivera, adopt a resolution authorizing the reappointment of Jorge Diaz, Reading, PA, to the Redevelopment Authority for a 5-year term expiring on December 31st of 2026. There are several items listed under the Commissioners. Item A, adopt a resolution authorizing execution of First Amendment to Agreement for the operation and management of the Berks County Youth Recreation Facility fields between the County of Berks and the Big Show Sports Complex, LLC, out of Wayne, Pennsylvania, to permit Reading Rage to use the facility for the Rage allotted time for the duration of and in accordance with the terms of the field use agreement. Item B, adopt a resolution authorizing the chair to execute memorandum of understanding between the County of Berks, Reading, PA, and the Berks Soccer Academy, Reading Rage SC, out of Temple, PA, for the use of the Berks County Youth Recreational Facility. Item C, adopt a resolution authorizing execution of a sub-grant forensic science improvements combating opioids to the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency. The grant will be used by the District Attorney's Office for training, certification, and equipment to improve methods to combat opioid and synthetic drug crisis. Item D, adopt a resolution authorizing the chair to execute Addendum 2 to lease agreement between Robert J. Morella and John M. Reshitar as lessor and the County of Berks as leasee, extending the term of the lease for the Magisterial District Judge Eric Taylor's Municipal Court Facility at 401 Walnut Street, West Reading, PA, for an additional 3-year term expiring March 31st of 2025. Item E, adopt a resolution authorizing the chair to execute agreement between the County of Berks and the Berks County Industrial Development Authority for the redevelopment of the Medical Arts Building located at 230 North 5th Street, Reading, PA. Item 2, a motion to authorize execution of contract agreements and amendments as set forth on the attached listing dated March the 21st of 2022. There are a total of 4 contracts, one with the Berksheim, one with CareerLink, one with Parks and Rec, and one with the Public Defender's Office. Item 3, a motion to authorize execution of the payments and electronic transfers as set forth on the Controller's Office voucher listing dated March the 24th of 2022. Item 4, a motion to authorize execution of the employee payroll disbursements dated March the 29th of 2022. Item 5, motion to authorize execution of local earned income tax payment dated March the 25th of 2022.
Motion to approve the agenda is presented.
I will second that motion. The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The motion carries. We'll move now to our county treasurer's report, and sitting in for our treasurer is Deputy Treasurer Linda Weaver. Linda.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We have an opening balance of $162,928,975.06. We have a balance to clear of $4,228,069.89, leaving us with a balance of $158,700,905.17.
Thank you very much, Linda. We'll move now to the County Controller's report. And sitting in for our County Controller is the Deputy Controller, Grozna Nikiel. Grozna?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
The disbursements for this week were $6,968,796.59. Those were total accounts payable disbursements. Also, there was an authorization to process payroll for March 29th in the amount of $4,529,000. $383.58, which is going to be for March 29 payroll.
Thank you very much, Grozna. We'll move now to our Chief Administrative Officer, Ron Seaman.
Thank you, Commissioner Leinbach. Just two items. In conjunction with National Agricultural Week, our Berks County Department of Agriculture tomorrow, Friday the 25th of March, will be hosting various presentations at the Berks County Agricultural Center, beginning at 8:45 with refreshments and ending at 11:30 with networking and an ice cream social. While RSVPing is not required, it is certainly appreciated, and details on this can be found at the County Department of Agriculture webpage. Secondly, I'd like to again call attention to an activity in our Parks Department for this Saturday, March the 26th. It's a ranger-led photography hike at Gring's Mill. It takes place between 9 and 10:30 a.m. and it's a free event. However, pre-registration is required. So if you want to participate in that, get those reservations in as soon as possible. Again, details on that can be found at the Park and Recreation's webpage or on their Facebook page. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ron. And with that, we are to the commissioner's comments. And I'll begin with my colleague, Commissioner Kevin Barnhart.
Thank you, Commissioner Leinbach. One reminder, tomorrow morning in the second floor auditorium will be our election board meeting at 10:30. Purpose is to draw lots for committee people in some of the contested races in the municipalities. And we're also going to be making some permanent temporary polling location changes tomorrow. So if you are one of the 11 or 12 people that are coming in to draw your ballot lots, make sure you're at the second floor auditorium before 10:30. Thank you.
So what is a temporary permanent change?
Temporary and permanent. There are two permanent changes of polling locations, and there's a host of other temporary.
That are temporary?
Yes.
Okay.
We had to do a lot of shuffling during the pandemic, so I think some of this is readjusting back to where we were before.
Very good. Thank you very much. Two items. Just reiterate National Ag Week. That's an important celebration, especially here in Berks County. When you look at industries by revenue, not necessarily employees, but by revenue, ag continues to be the leading industry here in Berks County. And it's fascinating, for me at least, watching over the last 15 years as the ag industry in Berks has diversified even more. And that is the strength of the industry. It's not like it was 30, 40 years ago where you could have an operation that was just dairy or an operation that was just grain. There's a mix. You'll find many farms that are doing dairy and poultry, or grain and poultry is a big one, or hogs, and then a lot of other specialty areas, specialty types of orchards. We have even more vineyards. So I would encourage you, if you're able to get out to our Ag Center tomorrow, please do that. I'm going to be trying to stop in and saying hello and greeting the folks that come out for that event. Secondly, I want to note we had our Ccap spring conference. All three commissioners participated. Actually, two of the three commissioners participated in various aspects of that event. Commissioner Rivera was not able to attend due to health concerns, but Commissioner Rivera is the second vice president of the County Commissioners Association, and he was sorely missed. A lot of people asked about him, and he's doing well, but it was a good program. I just want to share some highlights. We did have a presentation that I attended from NACO on the Live Healthy program. It's something I want to look at again with our county HR team. We are active in the drug prescription discount program, But there's some other areas that I want to look at as a result of that. Some other items, we had extensive discussions. I was in two different workshops, actually one workshop, one general session dealing with elections. There were discussions around drop boxes, discussions on what the law should be or shouldn't be. We had a session on Tuesday morning that was fairly controversial, in my opinion. We had one Republican legislator, two Democratic legislators, and I'm not going to get into the controversy, but some of it revolved around, once again, whether or not there was voter fraud in the 2020 election. There was a lot of discussion on the top two reform initiatives of our association, and that's the one thing I want to take out of this. I'm a little taken back by the responses to one of those issues. The two issues that we've asked for, and there is broad agreement. One is pre-canvassing, and pre-canvassing would allow us prior to Election Day, under secure methods, and our county, more than I think any other county, has proven that we are open, transparent, and provide a record of all the ballots as they're being counted, as they're moved from secure storage to the area where they're counted. But it would allow us to do this up to 2, 3, 4 days prior to the election, versus having to bring in additional help every election day and count those on election while we're also trying to run elections. Broad agreement on that. The other issue is the registration deadline for mail-in and absentee ballots. Currently, it's 7 days before the election. We want it to be 14 days. And so here was the controversy. Everyone on the panel initially said, yes, we agree, there's unity around these two issues. Then the Democrats indicated, yeah, but we're not really keen, and neither is the governor, on moving the registration deadline. We just think you need to fix that with more drop boxes. Even though they said initially they agree. The Republican representative didn't have a problem with moving back the registration deadline, but said historically the vote has always been about voting in person on Election Day. I found that to be somewhat hypocritical in light of the fact that the Constitution has, since the late part of the Civil War, Pennsylvania Constitution allowed for mail-in ballots. In that case, for military personnel, which means they are voting before Election Day. They are not voting in person. They are voting by mail. And the late 30s, 37, I think, was amended. The Constitution was amended again for the current absentee limit. So what became clear to me is what we already knew, and that is there's no unity to do anything at the legislative level, and I'm not sure even at the level of the governor. And the only way I can judge is by results. And January of 2021, the top priority for the County Commissioners Association was election reform. There's a number of other areas of election reform, but these were the top two issues, and they have not been touched. And there's no indication they're going to be touched this year. I find that very disappointing. Another area that I sat in that was very fascinating was a session on GIS coordination and next generation 911. It was a very good presentation. It talks about the next gen 911, where because of additional wireless bandwidth on the public safety channels. Once this is in place, a 911 call can come in, a responder can respond not just with audio, which they currently do, but can respond with video of the scene, with still images of the scene, providing more information. But the most significant, and I knew that, the most significant thing that I learned is in the current 911 system, if an operator gets a call that has to be transferred, and in Berks County, an example of that occurs on a regular basis are calls for Reading Police that come into 911 that get transferred to Reading Police. Other counties, it would be transferred outside. Currently, they don't get any of the on-screen data. Under Next Gen 911, it will be seamless. There will be no need for the new operator to ask the same questions the prior operator asked, and it won't matter where that 911 operator is. They will have the full access, full ability, and that led to a brief relative to the overall discussion, and that is in larger counties like Berks, the discussions are going to move towards the potential merger, complete merger of 911 operations. It's not going to be a forced issue, but the possibility exists that and I'm just giving this as an example, Berks County and Montgomery County or Berks County and Lancaster County could merge 911 operations into one single facility. And it would address two things. One, you would save tremendous capital cost, maintenance, equipment, et cetera. But two, it can help address the staffing challenges that we have with 911 operators. So that, I would say, of all the sessions I was in, that's the one that to me was most interesting. Let me just look here. Two other things, and I take notes for every conference I go to, NACO and Ccap. I actually have notes back to 2008, so I'm going through my notes in order. I was in a Sure System workshop, and I'm really concerned that the new Sure System is being rolled out. Sure is the election database system for the state, but the new system will do a lot more than just election database. And the first modules went live March the 15th, and it is an election management module. It includes election night reporting. There was a lot of concern in the room that this being put on top of everything else that is still largely unaddressed is causing some very serious concerns in election departments across the Commonwealth. There was a training, and I know our county participated on Friday, and a lot of concerns were expressed in that meeting. We met with Jonathan Marks, who is the deputy for the Secretary of the Commonwealth. He's very good. Jonathan's been there for a number of years, but they are not changing the rollout. There are just a lot of concerns. I won't go into more detail. There are a lot of concerns. I could go in because I took a bunch of notes. The last thing, and I've already shared this with my colleagues, on Monday evening, I met with a firm that operates in-house health centers for large businesses, but especially for government entities. Extremely fascinating. It saves money for the county, but more importantly, makes healthcare much more accessible for our employees in the facility. I won't go into more details. That we're going to get a presentation to our HR, CAO, and CFO to get more details, and then they will talk to the commissioners whether or not this is something to pursue. But I spent about 2 hours with these people on Monday evening. It was very, very interesting. So that's my report from the County Commissioners Association, and we'll open it up if there are any comments or questions from the row officers. Hearing none, there appear to be no comments, no public comment.
Motion to adjourn.
The meeting stands adjourned.